Yo, what's up guys? This is Where to Start. If you want deep singing knowledge you'll get nowhere else, subscribe and pound that thumbs up. Let's go. So for a lot of people researching vocal technique on YouTube, it is a quagmire. It is a tricky place to navigate successfully. There's an ocean of information, and frankly, a lot of it is about 1 inch deep. Now, what you find with a lot of the information I put across to you guys is it's kind of narrow in its focus in some sense, but it's very deep and profound in another sense. This is the type of information that you typically want to gravitate towards when you're trying to improve your vocal technique, your mechanics, and that's what it ultimately comes down to. I want to cover a brief concept today, something that I've not really spoke about before, not in this way, but I've been using this term a little bit recently and I think it's useful. And it's learning technique and developing a sense, an intuitive sense of vocal cord contact. Now, what do I mean by vocal cord contact? I mean, as a singer, learning to distinguish between when the vocal cords are coming together and making contact versus when they're apart and we lose contact. The vast majority of technical issues that struggling singers face are to do with this. They are to do with a lack of awareness of contact between the vocal cords and a lack of awareness of when they lose or increase some of that contact. Struggling singers just aren't aware of when they are losing contact, when the vocal cords no longer touch, they no longer come together. They don't understand the consequences of that happening. When we lose that contact, when we lose this, when we don't hear that that little bit of contact on the vocal cords, when we don't feel it, what that typically signifies is the right muscles are starting to let go and the wrong muscles will be much more likely to start to try and quote unquote help the mechanism. Now I go on about this constantly because this is really the basic building blocks in terms of the fundamental understanding that a singer needs to transition to when they want to learn more efficient technique that's going to lead them towards singing higher, technique that's going to lead them towards singing quote unquote naturally or more easily. Natural singers are efficient singers, unnatural singers are inefficient singers. That is, broadly speaking, the reality of what we're facing as struggling singers. We're trying to transition from inefficient use of the vocal mechanism to efficient use of the vocal mechanism. Typically, a lot of coaches out there focus on style, focus on how does it sound? Do you sound good? Do you sound cool? Do you sound like you've got a big voice? All this stuff. In terms of sounding natural and singing with freedom, the question needs to be, are you singing efficiently or not? And what do we mean by inefficient singing? We just mean there's a lot of stuff going on that we don't need. It's not essential. Yeah, there's a lot of wasted energy and effort in the mechanism. This is why naturals are confused, quite frankly, regarding why singers struggle. Because they've never experienced inefficient use of the mechanism. If you're singing efficiently, if you're using your voice efficiently, it's kind of confusing as to why it would be hard. As I've sung more efficiently, I found I'm starting to forget and I have to remind myself a lot, and teaching helps me remember how hard it was when I was singing inefficiently, when I was using my voice inefficiently. But people forget, and other people just never know, they never learn because, and this is true of both naturals and unnaturals, is they have nothing to compare it to. And this video is kind of meandered off, but let's just bring this back to vocal cord contact. The purpose of it is this, is if you can find if you can find contact, even contact, you are reinforcing and installing efficient use of the vocal mechanism. If you start, or should I say if and when you start to lose vocal cord contact, and you feel that push, you feel the chords come apart, you lose contact, you lose that relationship with the vocal cords, that direct feel for the chords coming together. You're always going to get in trouble. But if you can find feel that contact, develop a relationship with it. It doesn't have to sound pretty, it doesn't have to sound impressive. It has to be mechanically sound. It doesn't sound pretty, it doesn't sound singy, but the right muscles are working. It's helping me to get towards efficient, natural sounds that ring, that ping, that buzz, that have a kind of character to them. That character that you can't get with inefficient singing, with clutter in the sound. Because what that does, it dulls and deadens the overtones in the sound. It actually compromises the end product. It creates a kind of sound that's, there's something off, yeah? It feels flat, feels lifeless almost. When you get vocal cord contact, you can't help but sound good because the sound is full of colour and overtones. It's not compromised, it's rounded, it has personality in it. And this is a result of mechanics and sound mechanics, believe it or not, largely. And this is where people get confused, is if you can find efficient coordinations, to get emotion and feel into your music is something that is so much easier, is so much more accommodating towards. If your singing is pushed and inefficient, you can kind of really try to feel your way into it as much as you want, but people aren't going to switch on to it, unfortunately. So in one sense, technique leads into style the right way. And from there you can shape the sound, certainly. But with the wrong foundations, with a lack of contact, with a lack of sense of a relationship with the mechanics, whether that be understood, to where a singer can explain it, or just intuitively understood from a young age, you're setting yourself up to communicate with people. Efficient technique leads into great style. The vast majority of people earning their living doing this are great stylistically and also great mechanically. Whether or not they're aware of it, that's another question for another day. And I'll leave you with that, guys. I just wanted to put my thoughts out there about a bit of coaching, a bit of technique, a bit of broad understanding about what I have to offer students and why I'm here. Do you agree with me? Do you think that efficient singing is the backbone of great singing? Or do you think it doesn't matter so much? Do you think I'm overemphasizing it? Let me know in the comments below. And listen, if you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button, pound that thumbs up. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.